Thank you. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today. No slides from me. I'll just speak freely. The first part, I would like to tell you a few things on how I go about my work, how I try to find signals, detecting weak signals. That's a general topic. And how I try to work that into an article. Second part, I would like to just give a few tips for people from the other side, so people who are not journalists, but maybe will have to deal with journalists, with innovation journalists. And the third part, I would just like to open up for questions from your side, what you always wanted to know but never dared to ask a journalist. So that's your chance today. May I ask you first, who of you is a journalist, actually? Okay, great. What I have found a valuable strategy is trying to get into communities. So I write about telecommunications a lot, about IT, about Big Brother watching you, these political issues. I'm also going to write shortly about the airline industry, and I have found it a good strategy to go into communities, to find people mainly on the internet, be it mailing lists, news groups and Usenet, could be blogs or web forums, but also real-life events like regularly scheduled events or one-time events from that industry you're covering. So you're writing about pets. We had that nice example on some slides today with all these different internet forums on all sorts of pets. Was it your slide? Yeah. It's amazing. But if you're a journalist who writes for people who have pets, it can be a very valuable source to go and just mingle with the crowd, mingle with the people who are very interested in that and who are already there on the internet discussing about it. I have found several aspects of it worthwhile. One is that you can find out there what people are currently interested in, what are they in that topic. Let's take the pets. What are they currently talking about their pets? Are they talking about their food, about illnesses, about allergies, about their pets losing their hair? Are they talking about behavioral things of their pets? I don't know, about procreation, whatever. And from that, you may be able to derive an article or an idea for a story, an idea for a series, because you see, at least for the part of the audience that's in that forums, you see what matters to them, what are they interested in. Another thing is that they often know about innovation much earlier than a wider audience might know, because that's a special interest group, or maybe they even work for a company doing research in that area. And that's why they're in the forum, because they also want to know what do my prospective customers talk about, what are they interested in to derive, what kind of products they could evolve from that knowledge. And so often it's people from companies in that industry also in that forums, and they might want to share, or mailing lists or Usenet or blogs or whatever, they might want to share very early news, often about products in a beta stage, in a testing stage, which could be very interesting for you as a journalist, because we also had a slide today where it was shown new things turn up in these blogs, and they take 3 weeks, it was said. 3 weeks they take to come to the big media. So if this company Media 110, that company Media 110 that was mentioned earlier, is just trying to find out these weak signals which might affect a share price at a later time, you could also try, as a journalist, try to find these weak signals and have the article first, weeks before everyone else. So that is communities. They can help me a lot. They also sometimes give me feedback on something I have written, or something someone else has written. And It has to be said that this takes time. You have to get to know them. You have to filter out who of these people in that forum, in that mailing list, actually know what they're talking about, or who would just have strange ideas. They don't know what they're talking about. It takes a little time, but it can be very worthwhile to do that. Another way I go is not very surprising. I'm trying to build a network of experts, trying to find people from that industry I'm writing about, people who I can trust, and then trust in that they're telling me the truth, trust that they know what they're talking about, and so on. And then try to build trust with them, try to get a good working relationship with them. With some it will work, with some it won't, because they don't like what you write, because they think you have a different point of view as theirs, or they don't like what you look like for whatever reason. But with others, it can work very well to build trust with them so that they trust you. For that to work, you have to be very honest with them. So if you call him, that person, to ask him something, you should frankly tell him what you are going to do with that information he gives you. Or what you want to do with it. Do you need a quote for your next article, where you say, Mr. So-and-so from that company said, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or do you just want to get a background information, and you're actually not interested in having his name put there, or you don't mind? You say, I want information, and you tell me if I can publish it or not. So this open and frank approach to your experts or sources has proven a very, very good strategy for me. Sometimes these experts, they want their name there, sometimes they don't want it, and often it's a mixture of both. They say, okay, first I'll tell you what you can write, some quote, which is okay with my company policy or whatever. And then I'm going to talk to you off records. I'm going to tell you what the actual thing behind it is, but you have to promise me not to write that. And of course, you have to stick to that. You really don't should tell them in your article or anyone else in the industry who told you this or that information. Because you will not only lose that one expert or source, you might also lose trust with other sources and other experts you're dealing with, if you don't follow this on or off record rule. But with that information someone tells you off records, you can often understand the whole story much better and get a much better story, even when you're not allowed to tell the source or to name that person. Another thing for detecting weak signals is a maybe uncommon approach is to check organizations and who have funding programs, who give out subsidies. So that could be on a city level, that could be on an EU level. I think we have here, for example, a folder. It's called Video Active, a thing. It's creating access to the archives of the European Television Organization. It says on the back, this project is co-funded by the European Union through the e-Content Plus program. Frankly, I don't know the e-Content Plus program, but if you think you like that Video Active project, and you go to the e-Content Plus website, I suppose they have one, you go there and see what other projects do they fund. You might find very interesting, very innovative projects through that way. And there are lots of programs, funding, subsidies there. There are plenty of them for different industries, different approaches, different kinds of projects. But you can see there, usually they publish who they fund and why. So company X gets 100,000 euros to develop some biochemical whatever, and the company Z gets $20,000 for doing some artwork.